Best NASCAR paint schemes of 2024, according to me. And I promise this will not be another Ally paint scheme glazing. No, seriously, last year I picked the Columbia Retro 90s themed scheme as my number one, snapping a 3-year Ally stranglehold. Can Ally get back on top? Will we see a new number one? Let's find out. Couple of quick disclaimers. As usual, I will not be including throwback schemes on this list. Otherwise, they'd probably take up half the spots. And another quick note, this video is getting more and more difficult to put together every single year. There aren't many bad schemes. I think the secret is out. I think teams, sponsors, and designers now know the best way to optimize the extra space on the next gen car. So this list is very competitive. There weren't many schemes this year that just jumped out at me, took a bold risk, tried something new, and it worked. I think we know what works with this car, and some sponsors and designers have done it better than others, at least in my opinion. Anyway, enough disclaimers. Let's start with number 24. Maybe I'm the problem, but this is the third straight year that the DeWalt schemes have dropped down my list. I will always be partial to the black and yellow, but I miss some of the simpler schemes of the past. Let the bold black and yellow colors speak for themselves. This scheme still looks good, but so many of DeWalt's schemes the past couple of years are promoting specific brands or products. They're just too busy. With great colors, a great logo like this, simple is better. This scheme isn't bad, but it's not as good as DeWalt has looked in the past. Number 24. Number 23. I've always been a fan of the auto owner's shade of blue. I like this scheme, the sort of like sound waves coming off the hood. The blue painted side skirt looks really clean. Just love the colors on this scheme. This is number 23. Talk about a scheme that's grown on me in the past year. This was probably my favorite Kyle Busch scheme of 2023, but I overlooked it when I was making my rankings at the end of the year. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I love big, bold, oversized logos on race cars. The Lucas on the hood fits that description. Another beautiful shade of blue. I love the white with red trim that spills over onto the nose. This is just a clean looking paint scheme. In an era of busy, unrecognizable designs, this paint scheme can easily be picked out of the pack at Daytona. Great car, number 22. This paint scheme gets overlooked far too often. It's taken for granted. It's simple but effective. Hasn't changed much over the past 4 or 5 years. Brad Keselowski ran this exact same design pretty much. It's so sharp. I love how the red sort of just comes to a point there near the hood. The logo is big but instantly recognizable. Like, this is low-key one of the most identifiable paint schemes of the past decade. It's time to give Discount Tire their flowers. This one's right up my alley. Again, I love black and yellow schemes. Romco with John Hunter Nemechek. I think this scheme only ran once this year, but it was memorable. I remembered it. The yellow accents are perfect, whether you're talking about the front of the car or the A-posts up onto the roof rails. The yellow roof number, that's an underrated detail that I very much love. Wasn't long ago that Petty GMS was forcing like orange roof numbers no matter the design, and I hated it. This is nice, really clean, top 20 paint scheme for Romco. There's a lot going on with this one. It awakens the gamer that's still deep inside me. This reminds me of high school, early college, crack open a Mountain Dew, hop on Rocket League with the boys. I was never a big Doritos fan. I was more of a Goldfish guy. Is that weird? I'd have my greasy controller in one hand, stuffing my face with Goldfish at the other. It was not the most effective way to play games, but that's what this scheme reminds me of. So maybe it's the nostalgia speaking. I like this one. It's loud, a little obnoxious, but it's effective. Top 20 scheme here for Hemrick. This may be a hot take, but the Joey Logano Shell Pennzoil scheme also does not get the credit it deserves. I think this year, the angles on the Mustang Dark Horse body made this paint scheme more noticeable, made me realize that we've been sitting on a gem. Again, we complain about drivers not having recognizable schemes. Logano races this one 30 times a year. It looks great. I love the red trim coming up from the side skirt over the front tire, front wheel well. That looks super nice, very sharp. This is a very Simple but effective, recognizable paint scheme worthy of a mention in my opinion. I know that might be a hot take. Someone's got to say it. I swear, I'm not trying to be pretentious, different for the sake of being different. I actually like this scheme, especially this angle when it's coming right at you. I think the red and orange look really, really nice. The contrast up against the black looks clean. And looking at the door again, the way they framed the 43 and then they put the Family Dollar on the black, I think this looks really good. But it's not as good as Bubba Wallace's Ronald McDonald House Charity Toyota. He raced this one at Homestead. The crayon drawings and scribbles on the side, that's cute, that's sweet. That's awesome. But for me, it's the colors. I almost always have a McDonald's paint scheme somewhere in my top 20, but in the past, McDonald's has insisted on injecting gray all over the scheme. This is what a McDonald's car should look like. Bright red, bright yellow, some whimsy, some childlike wonder. That's the McDonald's I grew up with. Not this gray, beige, modernized McDonald's that they insist on showing us. No, get out of here with that. This is what McDonald's should look like. It's instantly identifiable. This is a great paint scheme. More of this, please. More bright colors, McDonald's. That's you. Oh, and speaking of bright colors, I like this paint scheme. I don't know what that is on the hood. Is that like, what is that, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? No, it's got like teeth. Is that like Little Shop of Horrors on the hood? I have no idea. But the bright neon yellow-green flames, again, on black, that contrast, whoa. This paint scheme, some may consider it an eyesore. I consider it a bold risk that, for the most part, paid off. This is a fun one. I like it. What can I say? Top 15. Let's keep things mean and green. Tyler Reddick's Monster Energy Beast Unleashed Camry. I remember when he debuted this scheme late last season. I was floored. Wait, you mean you can actually design a Monster Energy scheme? It doesn't have to be all black with the M. I appreciated them doing something different with Tyler Reddick. They ran this scheme a lot this year and even had a few variants that were pretty cool. This is still a great looking scheme. I think the initial shock has worn off. I've gotten used to it a little bit. Still great, still fantastic, but it didn't hit me quite as hard as it did when it first debuted late last season. Still a very good paint scheme though. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I had to include a Hendrick Motorsports 40th anniversary scheme on here. I thought William Byron's worked the best. That ruby red with the bright day glow flames and the neon yellow 24 pops. Like, this looks cool. I have not always been a fan of Exalta's color choices the past few years. This one looks great. I like this one a lot. 13th for William Byron. Oh, and coming in at number 12 is the Ally Nashville scheme. Dale Earnhardt Jr. helped design this. Once again, it looks great, but it's not as cohesive as past schemes have been. In the past, they've added a splash of blue in just the right places. A couple of years ago, they added like a guitar on the nose. It was very subtle. This year's is kind of all over the place. It matches the normal Ally scheme from this year, which I liked but didn't love. This paint scheme is great, and I love that Ally does something different for the Ally 400 race weekend every year. I hope they keep that tradition up because these continue to be some of my favorite paint schemes every single year. I mean, I have on my desk at all times the Nashville scheme from a couple years ago that I just referenced. That probably is my favorite Nashville Ally scheme. Another good one, but not quite good enough this year to crack my top 10. Maybe I'm going through a phase or something because I've noticed a lot of schemes on my list are a black base with bright colors popping. I've had this paint scheme in my top 10, top 15 before, so this one's not exactly new. The red chrome 12, I think is a nice detail. I think I said this last year. The only thing I would change on this scheme is maybe get a little more yellow and red on the nose, although the all black kind of matches with the Mustang Dark Horse theme, so I can't criticize too hard. This is still a really good, just mean looking paint scheme for Ryan Blaney. I gotta get out of this funk. Let's get some bright colors back in here. Yes, the love scheme, top 10. What's not to love about this scheme? Bright, warm colors, big oversized logo on the door. They've even added smaller Love's logos above the headlights. Take full advantage of all that space. Looks good from any angle, can easily spot it on track. The Love schemes continue to deliver year in, year out. Whew, another bright scheme, and I know this one's a little awkward because I guess they didn't pay their bills and got booted mid-season, but this was one of my favorite Chase Elliott Hooters schemes in years. Awesome that he also got to win in this paint scheme, makes it even more memorable. But again, I guess part of what I love about this scheme is the orange and black Halloween style contrast. Okay, so let's get just a bright scheme. Here we go. Yeah, this is a great place to put old reliable. The Sunny D scheme. They haven't changed it in years now. I think it's because they watch my videos and they know how much I love this design. Josh Berry and Ricky Stenhouse drove very similar Sunny D paint schemes this year. Just look beautiful. The bright orange, the blue angles coming in towards the nose. I can't say enough. I say the same things every year because this paint scheme's usually in my top 10 every single year. Nothing's changed. I gotta show some love to FedEx on their way out. This was a clean paint scheme this year. I love how they framed the 11 on the door. It's on that purple backdrop. I think the nose looks great, some purple fading into orange. That gradient is actually pretty consistent down there on the side skirt, also back on like the C-post on the roof. So I like that cohesion, that consistency. Great colors, purple and orange look good together. White base, very clean. Sad to see FedEx go, but at least they ended, in my opinion, on a high note with one of their best schemes to date. Another Chase Elliott scheme on the list, I loved his Napa car this year, the blue one. I think this looks awesome. They didn't muddy it up with some red here or there or, too much white or black or gray. No, they just said, hey, it's blue and it's yellow. Those are the colors that make Napa Auto Parts identifiable. Let's just go all in. And this is the result, and I think it looks really good. Big fan of the yellow roof number. No empty spaces on the door. That's what I mean. I think teams, sponsors, and designers have figured out how to optimize this car. This looks great. This looks awesome, but not quite good enough to crack my top 5. I know I said no throwback schemes. This isn't a throwback scheme. It's just a throwback logo, I guess. I had to include this. The normal Busch Light scheme probably could have made this list somewhere, but I wanted to show some love to this design in particular. Wow, the blue and gold looks so nice. I love the mountain peak there on the door. Almost looks like a sound wave. Gosh, this scheme looks so good. Can Busch Beer just bring this logo back permanently, please? Honestly, this looks so nice. And I'll show his teammate Daniel Suarez some love. I love bright colored schemes, big, bold, orange Kubota colors. The reason this one cracks my top 5 is there are some nice details here, especially on the door. You've got the sugar skull, little 99s, other Mexican imagery. Trackhouse probably does the best job promoting their drivers' personalities, backgrounds. Like in the past, we've seen, watermelon designs on Ross Chastain's paint schemes. Here for Daniel Suarez. Obviously, they all have their signature post-win celebrations. The team, the sponsor, the designers embracing each driver's backgrounds and personalities. I think that's what makes this paint scheme great. Daniel Suarez had a really cool fire suit as well that coordinated with this scheme. Love the bright colors. I think this is a top 5 car, in my opinion. Maybe that's a hot take. Bronze medal, Tyler Reddick got the iconic Jordan brand into victory lane. It's so simple, but it works so well. The iconic Jumpman logo, front and center, also on the door. Just the name Jordan, synonymous with sports excellence. Great scheme, simple, well executed. I love bold, bright colors, y'all know that, but I also can appreciate monochromatic simplicity. I don't know what that pattern on the hood and on the roof is called, but I like it. Scheme looks really, really sharp. See, I'm not just distracted by bright, pretty colors. I can appreciate this as well. I wish this was Kyle Larson's everyday scheme, honestly. I understand the history, the nostalgia, the sentiment behind the traditional HendrickCars.com colors, but this looks so good. Even if you replace the McLaren orange with red, I love this scheme. It looks modern. It fits the next gen beautifully. Some sharp edges. He's always racing right on the razor's edge. I'm glad Larson got to race this scheme this year. Justin Allgaier gave it a great run in the abbreviated Coke 600, but Kyle Larson gave it a great run in the Brickyard 400. This is a great paint scheme. A lot of great schemes in my top 5, but if I have to pick a number 1, and this was not easy, I think this year's winner has to be Christopher Bell's Mobil 1 scheme. There were a few great Mobil 1 cars this year. John Hunter Nemechek's looked pretty good. There was that gold one that Josh Berry ran. There was the black and gold 50 car, but this was my favorite. It's busy, but it's not busy. Like, yes, there are a lot of splatters, graphics on the side, but it's 3 colors, black, white, and red. The red roof number jumps out. The Pegasus on the door looks clean. Everything is framed so well. The little red Ream logo on the door fits right in. The side skirt is wrapped. Maybe it's also the Mobil 1, motor oil branding, but this looks like a race car. It's not distracting. It doesn't look like a 200 mile per hour billboard. It looks fast. You know what it is as well? I'm a sucker for black door numbers. Some of my favorite Matt Kenseth schemes in the past had black 17s on yellow doors. I know this is black on white, but still, I like the black door number. Too many teams, too many cars just default to a white door number and they'll put whatever color trim around it they feel is necessary. I mean, look at this photo. A lot of good schemes on here. A few of them made my top 24, but my 2 favorite on this list, the 45 and the 20, both are black door numbers on a lighter background color. Something about that just looks sharp to me. I love it. This was my favorite scheme of 2024. When the renderings first came out, I was blown away. When I saw it on track, gave me that kind of feeling that I don't get every single day. There you go. My top 24 NASCAR Cup Series paint schemes of 2024. Let me know which ones you agree on, where we disagree, what did I leave off the list that should have made it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Hope you all enjoyed following along. Hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching this video, folks.